Welcome to SML Total Access, where we break down news, predictions, and more in our Madden League. Now, let's get fired up for SML football.
Hello and welcome back to SML Total Access. I am Primetime000, and with me, as always, is my co-host Tiny Titan and Dan He. What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, man? Enjoying a glorious Saturday morning.
Yeah. Let's go ahead. Let's get right into it. As usual, we waste no time on Total Access. On first down, we're going to talk about something that got brought up in chat a little bit. It's also something I've seen quite often just throughout the cycle, and that's, I guess, declining and accepting penalty etiquette. Should you, or is there times when you should decline penalties? Pretty much. I'll let you guys pick who goes first on this first down.
Tiny, you're the odd man.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so I think it depends. So even when I win my games, normally they're close games, so I don't have to worry about being up by a lot. But I've learned from talking to several of you guys before, you're always like, don't give in, keep scoring unless you're up 40. Just keep going because you never know what's going to happen in Madden. That's kind of the same way I feel about this. Because I do, like, once I'm up in games, if you're up 20, 24 points, I start feeling bad because it feels like everything's just going your way. And so, like, if he completes a pass and then or if he gets a big run and then there's a holding call after he gets 10 yards, it's like, geez, maybe I should decline this. But unless you're in the fourth quarter and you're up like 28, just you got to take it. It's not your fault. I mean, if you're winning by 30, it's not your fault that Madden's doing that to him. Just keep taking the penalties that they're giving to you, and unless you're up by a lot and you just feel like being Santa Claus for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so I think it's a great topic because I think you can go a lot of different ways. You can have a lot of different opinions on it. I know there's some guys out there. I believe RD's one of them. I think Graham's is one of them. I'm kind of a little bit leaning that way, where we're sort of like, all right, if there's certain penalties that are made, let's kind of use your human judgment. Let's take away some of the randomness of Madden and decline some of those. There's been some moments where I've declined them. There's some that have declined on me. I was just playing Faz, and he dropped back, I think 30 yards, and then rolled out and waited 5 seconds, then finally threw it, and then got a roughing the passer and gave him an automatic first down. I kind of went off on him, but to me, it's this way. It's depending on what is the game. So when Faz and I were playing, I thought we were having just kind of a good old fashioned rivalry shootout game. Kind of, let's just have fun playing Madden. I didn't have anything to play for. I thought he didn't have anything to play for, and then he kind of flipped the switch on me, and then he stepped that penalty. So that's what set me off against him. I wasn't too upset the penalty actually happened. More, I just thought we were playing a different kind of game. My biggest line, though, is if you're in the playoffs, if you got to win the game, bottom line is accept the penalty, move on, because you never know what's going to happen next. I guarantee you, if I'm playing Dookie, I'm accepting every single penalty that comes my way. I know in a game against Bomber, I think 2 seasons ago, there was a late roughing or out of bounds, unnecessary roughness on my last drive, and I accepted it. So I will accept the penalty if it's a playoff game. But a regular season game, you're playing with someone. Yeah, I think you should kind of use your discretion there.
Yeah, I don't think there's I think you should always just accept a penalty if it happens. I mean, it's not like you're being a bad person by accepting a penalty. Because, and I get it, sometimes these pass interferences happen and they seem like they're phantom pass interference calls. That's kind of, I think, halfway through this cycle, that's when this came up, was people would, oh, you should really decline a pass interference if it happens, blah blah blah. It's like, let's take a second and think. In the NFL, I watch at least two games a week of NFL, the Colts game and maybe a marquee game. I don't watch a lot, but just in those 2 games alone, I see just dumb players. Man, I mean, they come in, just plays dead. They'll come in and charge in with their head and do a penalty, and it's accepted all the time. I mean, let's not act like in the NFL players don't make dumb penalties just late in the play, or a late roughing the passer, or a dumb pass interference. It happens, and it happens.
Yeah, but Prime, you're not using that logic on everything, right? We play house rules sim league, not what happens in the NFL. Like, shouldn't we try to eliminate some of the garbage that comes Madden's way?
I think you should. I think you should. And there's certain things you can, but I think you have to look at it in a case by case basis. And when you're looking at penalties, I know Madden doesn't set the penalties like that. Like there's no penalty ratings for like Vontez Burfict would have like a probably a 25 penalty rating. I guess they have the undisciplined penalty trait, and maybe that's something we could look into. Maybe some of these penalties are by guys who have an undisciplined penalty trait. I know that happens with holding. Faz is the guy who told me that. So look at it from that point of view. I still think if the penalty traits do work like Faz told me they do, then I think it's fine if you accept them. Honestly.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same with
Go ahead,
you, Prime, where like you said, in these games, you see guys do stupid crap. Not all the time, but 4 or 5 plays a game. It's just like, what are you doing? And the only way Madden can really incorporate that to make it sim like real life is it's going to make it look like those same animations, but they're still getting the flags, quote unquote, having a stupid play. That's the only way I figure you can look at it.
Yeah, I think it's way too a slippery slope to try to figure out a right way to do it. I don't think there is a right way. I think, bottom line is I'm not going to get mad if someone accepts a penalty because that's kind of what we've all kind of agreed to. But I do think, depending on situations and moments, like, if I'm playing in a moment and something happens, especially if I'm up and there's a bad penalty, I tend to decline that quite a bit. But game on the line, my integrity and my morals on penalties go right out the window because I'm accepting them every time.
So there you go. And one thing to consider is on simulation mode opposed to competitive mode. EA even advertised this. In simulation mode, quote unquote, more random things happen to replicate the NFL. Whereas competitive mode, your quarterbacks are going to be accurate with their passes. There's going to be less dropped on open passes. Probably less weird penalties. And simulation mode, I guess random is more likely to happen, which is annoying at the time, but I guess is somewhat realistic to real football in a way.
Yeah, this would be one I'd love, DW or someone out there who are poll masters. I'd love to get what the whole view of the league is because again, there's some vocal guys on either side of it, but I'm curious what the whole league would think about this.
Yeah, and again, people can say one way, but like you said, let's test their morals when it's late in the fourth quarter and it's a clutch drive, and then the penalty happened. Let's see then what your feelings are. But let's not go too long on this topic. So Dan, I think you brought this topic up. Who do you just enjoy playing? Maybe not outcome wise. Like I might enjoy playing some scrub every week because I'm going to put up 50. But just overall experience, who do you enjoy playing? And I guess Dan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so obviously the guys that are kind of at the top, I obviously enjoy playing for the competitive reasons. I enjoy just going battle back and forth and having close games, but for me, I was kind of looking at this, and this came up just a few games ago when I played KJ and the Steelers, and I was telling him afterwards, man, I really enjoyed that game, and he kind of thought I was kind of being extra nice to him, or I was trying to just patronize him, but I really meant it. Like it was a good, fun game for me to play because he did some different things. He changed his style up. He put me in a lot of third and longs, and I had to make some big third down plays to keep drives going. Probably, if we play 10 times, I'm probably going to win a lot of those 10 times. But the overall full experience, it just was a fun game. So, a lot of these, just because the score looks a certain way or some guy's going to win every time, there's a way to play where it's just fun. And KJ switching things up, changing things mid game, adjusting to me adjusting to him. To me, that's a fun experience.
Yeah, so KJ is actually an obvious answer for me, because we know each other so long or whatever. And so that's something we look forward to. We only got to play once this cycle, which was kind of sucks. We played quite a bit last cycle. But, and of course, anyone I match up well against, two that came to mind was Two-Step and Figs. They don't seem to be very well against the run game. And that's what I've been decent at this cycle. And so when I see them, I'm like just licking my chops, trying to get some yards with Chisholm. But my main guy, besides KJ, that you guys would probably be surprised with because I bitch about his quarterback so much, is meets. We actually look forward to our matchups every season, man. We actually really enjoy it. I will be mad for about 5 minutes after he does his immediate rollout and then is like, "What are you talking about? That's him." But we really we we always have a good time, and we look forward to our matchups, man. I think he would say the same thing. Well,
Well,
of course, because he wins.
hmm hmm I enjoy I enjoy playing Future is a good one just because it's kind of like a blast from the past, nostalgic SML game. No matter how good or bad he's doing or good or bad I'm doing, it seems like those games for the most part are always pretty close games. I enjoy playing Dan just because it seems like it's always a big game. Obviously, we have a game coming up today or tomorrow that's like not a big game at all. But typically, the all eyes are on it. The hype is there. It's a big moment, and it doesn't hurt that I win those games. I enjoy.
Easy now.
I enjoy just the energy and electricity in those games, which are typically actually playoff games. I feel like we play more in the playoffs than regular season almost. Yeah. But anybody who kind of brings the hype, I'm all for that, of course.
That's interesting. If you think about all three of our answers, Neo is the guy that kind of changes things, adjusts strategy. Tiny's the guy that, hey, he just wants to be able to win and run and get that W, and then
Hey,
you're all about
I
the
put
hype.
meets in there.
That's
Come
our
on, man.
personalities.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit of our personalities. It's kind of fun how, again, Madden's a little, it's a stale game by the end of 8 seasons, but still our own personalities come out too. That's what's kind of fun about it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. No, that's good. Let's move on. Third down. It's the tip of the week, and I guess we're going to start with one of the greatest SML players to ever do it, Tiny Titan, to give his tip of the week.
Okay, so just a side note, I feel like you put this in here just so you can take a subtle shot at me every week.
Maybe.
Anyway, so my tip of the week is so you've seen a lot in here lately about evals, and I've been one that's voiced that I don't necessarily like where I'm at. That's neither here nor there. But for guys that have wondered why they are where are at in the standings, I would just give you some advice. Next cycle, if you just do, maybe you do one thing, that's cool, and you help out. It's cool to see maybe just polls in chat, or me just doing total access, or just any little thing that people are doing. But do more. There's so much more you can do. Be more active in chat. Donate. There you can do donations. I mean, I don't think SML is really hurting for funding right now, but like you can always donate and help out with paying for those Simbardies that's being sent out every year, unless Prime wins and you don't have to pay for it. But so yeah, man, like just you can always do more. There's more you can do, and if there's something you want to be interested in, but you don't really know how to get started with it, ask Bomber, ask Dan, ask Prime. Like all these guys, they put a lot of time into stuff. Fast meets, all these guys put a lot of time into it, and I'm sure they would be willing to help you do anything you're interested in doing.
That's good.
That was good. Good, Tiny. Good tip of the
That was a good
week.
tip.
Good stuff there. Hey,
Well, if I can't give gameplay tips, I got to give something else, right?
I was almost going to say that, but I let it alone. So that was good, man. My tip of the week is looking ahead for some of these matchups in the playoffs. We're gonna see some guys that we've seen a lot. Okay, we've got some divisional matchups happening in the playoffs. You've got some of these matchups. You maybe played 8, 10, 12 times. All I'm going to tell you is just change something up. Okay, I saw DW talking about, I know what play he's going to run before he calls it. Well, part of that is you got to change something up. So a lot of times, what I'd love to do? I love to have a play that I run a lot, same exact formation, and yet just do one subtle thing different, whether that's flip the play, whether that's add a hot route, whether that's just a completely different play in the same formation. Just do one little subtle thing, not change your whole game plan, not change everything up, but just do one little subtle thing different. Maybe that'll be the difference between a win and a loss that you catch the guy off guard.
That's good. That's especially as you get in the playoffs with guys who or some guys who study and prepare, or you've just played them a lot. They'll know your tendencies. So that's a good point. For me, what I noticed is, and this is just anybody. Sometimes you'll see guys who Like and for example, like Meats or Dump, I've seen them do this from time to time. It'll be a big game and something will go wrong and they're down 7 points, 10 points, and then they'll immediately start posting in social chat, or if they're streaming, then they'll hop in their own Twitch and then they'll start commenting about, oh man, this isn't going good. It's like, don't do that. Like you're only distracting yourself from the game. Now, if a guy's commentating his game and if he briefly looks at chat and he says something, but then he's back looking at his screen, I don't think that's as bad. But taking the time to put your controller down and hop on your keyboard or your phone to be reading chat, there is nothing positive that could possibly come out of doing that at all. I just cannot imagine it. Even for example, me, I had a pretty good comeback, but I was so eager just to talk trash in chat. I actually recorded a video and posted it, and I forgot I had to kick the extra point. Now, would I do that in the playoffs? Probably not. But nonetheless, I was peeking in chat during the game, and it almost came back to bite me. So it just goes to show that it can happen to anybody.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because I agree 100%. I like Faz is a guy that is known to like read chat. He doesn't do as much as he's commentating, but he's a guy that's known to read chat
Hmm.
during games.
Hmm.
And I actually will sometimes try to post in there just to get him off his game because I know he's reading it. So,
Yeah,
you just it just doesn't serve anyone well. Just stay off chat and play your game.
yeah,
I
yeah.
agree with that as well. 'Cause I used to catch myself doing that probably a couple of seasons ago, and now I just get to the point where I get completely out of group me, and I'll lean my phone, I'll stand it up against my PlayStation. That way, if something important comes up, I get a DM or something, I'll see it. But other than that, I'm not looking at my phone whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just not good. It's not good. Let's move on, guys. Now to the fourth down. Who's gonna be in the conference finals? Who do you guys got? And we'll start with Dan.
All right, so this is going to be a tough one because I've realized that my record against guys that I talk smack or I pick myself is probably like 1-45 in the SML. Like I think every loss I've had is because I've talked smack before the game. So look at this. Obviously, I'd want to pick myself, but and if I don't pick myself, then I know Prime's going to use it in his corner. So I'm actually going in the conference finals. I'm going with two wild cards. Well, not one, not two. I'm going Bomber and I'm going Matt. That's my wild
Oh,
card
geez, come on, Dan.
in the AFC, man. Matt's going to come in. He's going to upset me. Bomber's going to beat you, and it's going to be Matt versus Bomber in the AFC. We're going to get, cocky Matt first game, then we're going to get humble Matt second game, and Bomber's going to beat him. So I got Bomber winning that. But in the NFC, I'm going to go Faz. I'm going to go Faz RD. It's going to be the best matchup the NFC can produce. It's going to be their marquee game of the entire cycle. We're going to find out whether or not RD can run the table and play for an undefeated Super Bowl. And I'm actually going to go with RD in the game. I'm going to go Bomber RD Super Bowl. That's my prediction.
Tony. Tony.
I think his kids woke up.
Well, I'll go ahead.
Sorry, I got you guys. I was muted. I'll actually almost agree with you there, Dan. I got Bomber. This is Bomber's year. Bomber's going to win everything. But after Faz started out losing 2 of his first 3 games this year, he's been on a roll ever since. He's had a couple close games, couple close calls there, but I think Faz is going to get back to it. He's got his mind back in the game. Bomber, of course, is going to play the lower seed, so he's going to have the easier path. Although, who is that going to be? He's going to play first. Would it be who's in the first round?
It
What
depends.
is it going to be? What I'm saying is Paulie playing? Is Paulie playing? Is he going to win?
It's probably
Maybe
Paulie Matt
50.
round one.
Paulie Matt. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking. All right, so Paulie, I think would get that, and then so then Bomber would have Paulie.
Yep.
So that's to make it easier path for Bomber, but then he's got to worry about you guys, which I think he's going to take care of whoever's left over this year.
Who's gonna win? You got to tell us between me and Prime. Who's gonna win?
I can't tell you that.
Come on, that's what the whole question is. Who's gonna be in the conference finals? You got to pick
Guys,
someone.
Bomber is in the conference finals.
Yeah, you need 2 teams.
Okay, so I'll pick Bomber and I'll take Prime.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh.
So
I'm actually contradicting myself. You'll see that here in a minute.
So my prediction, for the conference finals. It's Faz and RD in the NFC. I think they're just better than everybody else in the NFC. They've made a point that they're the best guys. They've represented in the Super Bowl, I think, a total of 5 times, or no, 4 times in the Super Bowl. And so they're just there. They're often in one of them's either in the championship conference game. They're just there. And as for the AFC representative, it's going to be Bomber against me. I don't see it. Dan, I'm sorry. Until you prove it, I got to pick
That's
myself.
fair, man. That's fair. I accept that. That's fair. That's fair.
That's not even me talking trash for once.
I
Now,
agree.
now the thing is, and you could say the same thing for the next round. It would be Bomber and myself. Let's say in the AFC Championship game. Until I prove it. Well, I mean, I have, I guess, in one AFC Championship game, but this season, if I prove it, you got to pick Bomber in that game. His team's better. He's playing better. It feels like, and we've, how many times have we said this? But it feels like it's Bomber's season. But it's felt like that about 5 times now. So there's that card. And if me and Bomber play, I've got, let's be real, I got smacked twice. I'm curious of what the mindset is for both teams going into that game. Would the Colts be motivated? Would they be a little less confident? Who knows? Maybe to be determined. But yeah, and obviously with Faz and RD, I mean, Faz, electric thrower, just kind of more balanced or a more dynamic offensive player. RD heavily reliant on the run game, but very, very efficient passer, doesn't turn the ball over much. That would just be a great game, and I look forward to watching that one.
Hey, Prime, real quick side note: if Bomber doesn't make the Super Bowl, you think that affects his Madden 22? You think there's any hangover effects if he doesn't make the Super Bowl this
Yeah,
cycle?
I think a little bit, and it. I think you have to think like every season this is only festered up a little bit like a big pimple. And could you imagine having the best team, everybody's picking you, and you either don't make the Super Bowl or you lose the Super Bowl. I mean, that's gonna
Yeah,
last, and now it's August, and we're not gonna start until September. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that would be tough.
Oh, I know. I know. Losing to NYT last cycle affected me. Feeling like these guys have no clue whether or not I can win a big game or not. So,
Hmm.
I think that could be. And we talk all the time about the big three in the AFC, but there's only been two of us that have
Yeah,
actually made Super Bowls.
yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't
It's
think it'll bother him that much unless it's one of you guys that he loses to. Now, like the one that sticks out to me, of course, which probably to you guys too, is the one he lost to Woods. So like if as long as it's nothing like that, I don't think it'd kill him. But yeah, I'm sure he
I
wants to
need
at least make the Super Bowl.
I need to be real. Like there was that stint there where I lost a bomber like 2 or 3 times straight in the play. The first time I was like, okay, he's a good player, whatever. Second time he's a good. The third time it starts to annoy you, and you can't let it get under your skin. And finally, I got over that hump, obviously. But if I lose to Bomber or Dan, then it's like, okay, well, I lost to a guy who was expected to be there. It's annoying, but whatever. I hate to lose. Now, if I lost to Matt, or if I lost to somebody who I expect to beat, that eats my soul away, because I feel like I just didn't play up to my standards. But everybody's different, I guess it's just everybody's got their own mindset and psychology. But that's how I view things anyway. Um, Anybody else got anything to say on that topic before we move to the tiny five?
No,
I'm
I'm
good.
just ready. Let's get these playoffs started, man. I think it's
Yeah,
going to be epic. I think
it's
it's going to
gonna
be a great
be
run here.
it's gonna be lit and fire. Tiny five heading into the playoffs. Who's your top five? Tiny, go.
All right, man. Which it's almost chalk. We're right here at the playoffs. We kind of know who the top guys are, but at number 5, I got you, Prime.
Yeah, let's
I'm
go.
sitting there at number 5. Dan, you're right above him, right there at 4.
Fine. That's
Okay,
fine.
that's okay. I got Faz. I moved him. Just in the standings, he was a little bit lower than you guys, but I got Faz at 3 just because he's got like what a 9, 10, 11 game win streak. So
Yeah.
I got to go with him.
Sure. Yep.
Um, I would love to put Bomber at 1, but you can't go against the undefeated guy, right? So you
Yep.
put Bomber at 2
Yep.
and RD at 1. Now, I will say this because I know I picked Faz and Bomber to be the winners of the College Football Championships. Um, I would love to see RD and Bomber go at it in the Super Bowl, but RD's averaging like 36 points a game. Bomber's defense only averages like 13 points. Like it would be like the ultimate head-to-head matchup with their defense and his offense, man. It would be really cool to see.
I think RD is a nightmare matchup for Bomber, because RD's offense is the perfect solution to Bomber's really. I mean, schematically, Bomber's defense is good, but the players are really good. And to beat Bomber, you have to run the ball 60-70% of the time, and you have to just take your check downs. You're not going to beat them down the field too often. And RD, a lot of his offense is predicated on obviously Cam Akers, but a lot of underneath drag routes, some out routes. No real deep shots until he gets you creeping up, and that would be a good game. Obviously, Faz, obviously, I mean, he's a great player, and he can compete with Bomber too. But no, I agree 100% with your top five.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you did a good job, Tiny. And again, Prime, I give you a hard time, but usually your analysis is pretty spot on, and I couldn't agree more with the RD comment. If you look at who Bomber lost to this year, it lost to Matt, and Matt is a little bit of a clone of RD. RD can pass a little bit
Poor
better than
man's RD, pretty much.
RD's.
Yeah.
Yep, RD's RD, and so, but RD can pass, and so he waits for that moment to creep up, and that's how you beat Bomber. You just got to stay patient and wait for those moments on him, and so. Yeah, I think out of all the matchups, Bomber would not want to see RD. I think Bomber can handle Faz. Faz has taken a step back. He's still a good player, but he doesn't have that explosiveness on offense like he had. I was actually surprised when I played him. I thought he'd do a little bit more. So, he's good good defensive player. Still really good player, obviously. But I think Bomber wants to stay away from RD.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to say before we wrap up, Dan did say that my analysis is spot on, so that will be sound snipped. That will be
Yep.
used moving forward, and all trash talk moving forward. Just so you guys know.
That's fair because again, it's I can't deny what is truth, but I also say what's fair too. And the fact is, I still want you playoff times, man. I
Uh,
want that matchup. I hope that whoever wins that third AFC East game, I hope they win. So Bomber gets that and divisional round. It's you and me, man. Whether I win or lose, I want a
you want a
shot at the
shot at
king.
it. You want a shot at it.
I'm
I
I'm
respect that.
swinging.
I want it too. I want it too. I'm not sure. Dan, you might have to win about 5 times to catch up for the cycle, but
That's fine. It starts with one though, man.
so
If I could keep you off winning that last Super Bowl, like you said at the end of last season, I like to win the last Super Bowl of the cycle. I remember that.
hey,
So if I can keep you from doing that, then life is good.
we'll see what happens for sure, man. Tiny,
Hey,
I'll let you sign us off today, Tiny. Unless if Dan had something to say.
well, I was just gonna say, even though you're bringing your third string scrubs week 17, I'm still gonna put 50 up on you.
Yeah,
So
you might. I'm not even gonna talk trash.
Well, hey, that's all we got. I'm going to sit on my couch and watch you guys in the playoffs. Me and Finns are going to try to get this game right out of the way as soon as advance comes on so that we can just go ahead and go fishing, as they say, after your season's over. Good luck, boys, in the playoffs.
There you go. Thanks, guys.
thanks.